All right, welcome to 6G Agenda. Special episode. We got the video up and going. Hopefully, you guys like it. We got the backdrop, a nice self made logo. Welcome back. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed our recent one. Dropped some bombs with the portals, talking about Stargates and all that. A little Travis Scott. Did you watch that documentary recently, Justin? That came out about the
It was the Astroworld
yeah.
documentary, right?
Yeah, I watched it after we made that. I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah, no,
It
I
was
didn't watch it.
I'm glad we made it was cool. It was really nothing special. I mean, yeah. But yeah. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Uh Definitely keep looking out, support us, all that good stuff. We're not gonna grift too long, but we are gonna get this going on YouTube probably. Maybe go ahead and see if we can do on Spotify. I don't know if we could do video on there, but we'll
Mm,
see about that.
yeah.
But we'll definitely get this tossed on YouTube. So support us there. And yeah, we're thinking about getting into kind of Hollow Earth. I saw some signals from Antarctica that's coming out from under the ice, apparently. And that kind of got me onto the Admiral Byrd stuff. And I was like, let's just do it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we should do one on that. But yeah, there's some signals coming out from under the ice. It's supposed to be, I guess it's mind boggling for the scientists there. So I'm wondering
Oh
what,
fuck. Did they wake up Megatron?
yeah, we're going to find out.
Dude.
But yeah, dude, I guess there's some, communication pulses or like energy bursts from underground.
Pretty
But yeah,
weird.
could be some. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's like warnings or like location beacons.
Yeah, it could be
They're
a
like, "Yo, we're
pulsing
down here."
signal. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, only because I'm thinking of the
Yeah.
Admiral Byrd shit. Like, the people that are supposed to be under there. We'll see. I doubt that anything crazy will really come out of it. But apparently, there was a massive radio anomaly that was detected in like 2016 by the Antarctic Impulse, whatever people, and they detected high energy particles. They were coming out from below the ice against like laws of physics, apparently, because it's miles of ice.
Interesting.
So yeah, there's something maybe inside the Earth sending signals up.
Oh fuck.
It reminds me of like the space signals though, where nothing really comes out of it necessarily, and they just keep saying that we got signals coming from places that they can't explain. So I just wonder, everything's a vibration. We've talked about that. Maybe there's just random pulses that are kind of unexplained at this moment with the current science we have.
Yeah. Just random shit that they're picking up.
Could be,
Hmm.
could be. But yeah, particles shouldn't move that way unless there's another layer of realm or matter involved, apparently, was a quote from a scientist involved in that. But hey, maybe there's some portal activity like we talked about last time.
Stargate SG-1, dude.
Well, we were going to talk about the Hopis, right? The Indians and the
Yeah.
prophecies. And apparently they talked about a gateway between worlds. And obviously we talked about Crowley and CERN last time. But that kind of got me into this Hopi prophecy. And, they came from underground. We'll get into it. But yeah, who knows? It could be, I mean, I know that people talked about how before it's possible that Antarctica wasn't ice, right?
Yeah.
So people might have lived there. It could have been like another Egypt type place, maybe.
That would be
It might have
wicked
been.
if that's the case.
Yeah, maybe there's like some energetic ley lines down there that are, because that's the point of Egypt apparently was that there's ley lines, and that those ley lines like, they can extract that energy out of the earth, with their pyramids and whatnot. So yeah, maybe the same kind of stuff was in Antarctica, and every once in a while some shit just pulses.
Yeah.
It's like doesn't mean anybody's down there, but maybe they are.
Maybe they are, dude.
So Buzz Aldrin, right? He was one of the astronauts,
Buzz
one of the
Lightyear, yep.
Yep, Buzz Lightyear. He's one of the Freemasonic astronauts we talked about last time. Well, he was down there. He said, "We are all in danger. It is evil itself." And then he deleted it whenever he was in Antarctica. And I remember seeing that. That was like 2016.
Mm.
And back then I was like, oh shit, something's going down in Antarctica. But now I'm like, all right, it's just another kind of Freemasonic, like, oh, manipulation, like, hey, something's just another thing, that they, you know what I'm saying? Tactic
Right.
to fuck with your mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, who knows? Because the Admiral Byrd diary, if it's real, we'll get into what's in it. But apparently, he went down there and he saw like a whole race of Aryan beings. They like they like what is it called? Like whenever you magnetically like trailer hitch a another like spaceship or whatever, tractor beam.
Yeah.
They like tractor beamed him in after he got in so far. Apparently, according to
Fuck.
his little diary, and then they talked to him about how that we're just like a warring type of species, and that we can't have nukes or like do anything crazy down there and no wars, and then that's why this treaty got signed. I don't necessarily believe it, but that's kind of like the nutshell of what that diary was.
Yeah.
Could be possible though. But yeah, dude, we'll get into. Should we get into the Admiral Byrd or Hopi's first?
Let's do the Hopies.
The
The
Hopi's,
the hippie Hopies.
the Hopes,
The Hopes.
dude. There's some wild ones, so we're probably gonna go on a tangent about their prophecies because they had some crazy. It's nuts. So brief overview is they were Indians from northeast Arizona. They were living in the mesas, and their name means peaceful people, peaceful little ones, reflecting their spiritual nonviolent nature. But they spoke like Aztecian style. But anyways, so let's get into their prophecies. I mean, they were classic like natives, deep agricultural connection, ceremonial life organized by clan responsibilities, initiation into sacred knowledge through rituals and prophecy. Now, that's something that goes on through all native cultures and mystery schools, like we talked about. And so it's funny, every time you talk about native culture, they always have like the shaman, but then you have to be initiated to know anything he knows, right?
Right.
It's that kind of carrying of the same stick.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Hopi's prophecies, there's some wild ones. So there's 4 world ages that they say that there was. The first world was destroyed by fire, possibly volcanic eruption, asteroid, which we kind of say now in mainstream science for the dinosaurs, that's how they went away.
Mm.
And then you got the second world, which was destroyed by ice. Third world, destroyed by a flood, which we've heard that one. And then the fourth world, the one we're in now, apparently is it's going to be destroyed out of like life out of imbalance with materialism and spiritualism. And that's what we see now. And hey, man, they may have been onto something. So there's something called the prophecy rock. It's carved into stone and contains symbols outlining a straight path of spiritual people, a crooked line for the materialistic path, and it shows the two life paths diverging in a final purification, which is like that last catastrophe for the fifth one.
Right.
Anyway, so there's 9 signs of the prophecy, they say. This is popularized by Frank Waters and Thomas Benyasea. Anyway, the Hopi elders reportedly describe 9 signs that precede the destruction of the fourth world. White-skinned people would take land, colonize. So that's
Fuck,
number
dude.
1. Spinning, dude, it gets crazy. Spinning wheels filled with voices, cars, right, with
Right.
radios.
Yeah.
A strange beast like a buffalo would rule the land. And that could be like cars or I don't know, tanks, who knows. Land crisscrossed by snakes of iron, like railroads, and giant spider webs, like telegraph, internet wires, electrical wires. Land crisscrossed by rivers of stone that make pictures in the sun, like the mirage off of a highway.
Mm.
I mean, these people were talking about this before this was ever a thing, so that's why it's kind of nuts. Uh, you'll see how
Bruh.
many. Yeah, they said you'll see many youth who wear long hair like the Hopi and come to learn their ways. The hippie movement. And now we're down to number 9. A dwelling place in the heavens shall fall with a great crash, interpreted as International Space Station, but This could be electromagnetic fucked up shit from like the sun flares that we've been getting a lot of. Maybe it knocks something out of orbit. And I guess that's supposed to be like a tell sign.
Yeah.
But the crazy shit is there's a blue and a red asteroid that are going to come. And I remember recently they said that there was a blue and a red asteroid that came like back a few years back.
Mm-hmm.
So we're kind of already like at that point, I guess. But the blue star Kachina is a celestial event marking the beginning of the end of the fourth world. So apparently, this blue star comet already passed. And this was a few years back. I'll have to, while I tell this, you should look this up real quick and see if the blue star from the Hopi prophecy already passed. But yeah, so its dance in the plaza means it will be visible in human sight before disappearing. So essentially, an asteroid or a comet that people will see. But the red one's crazy. So has the blue one passed? Let's find that out first. Then we'll talk about the red one because the red one's pretty wild. That comes next.
No verified Hopi elder has publicly declared that the Blue Star Kachina event has occurred. However,
It,
various modern claims and theories suggest that it may have happened, especially online.
yeah, so I guess I'm one of those modern theorists online.
I guess so. Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? But I mean,
no one who is like tied to the Hopi tribe has come out and said it that it's happened.
hey, okay, we'll see. I'm
So
pretty sure
apparently,
that,
there's
but who
another
knows?
big blue on the way, right?
Well, also, like, the news and the media likes to play into this shit. And, I can probably pull up a newspaper that shows that a blue comet passed by and tie it to that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
yeah. Because there
that's the
was
reason why.
I guess there was a bright bluish comet in '97.
Mm.
Sound familiar?
No, I mean, I was born in '96, gang. Your boy's a youngin'.
Well,
I mean,
no,
I
I
don't know, depending on
mean,
who's listening.
I figured you would like have read about it, but you know,
No,
I didn't think you
no, I
were
definitely,
0 years old and be like, "That's it. That's
I
the
was,
blue go. That's the big blue right there."
I was thinking more, I was thinking more recent for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
But so the red one is the purifier, brings fire and judgment. Some associate with Nibiru or wormwood. Now, if nobody knows what Nibiru is, I don't think we've talked about this, but
Oh,
Nibiru is this planet that apparently Planet X, right? You've heard of Planet X because like there's an unconfirmed theorized Planet X that NASA's talked about.
yeah.
And essentially, it's supposed to be like Nibiru, and it's kind of like the old Sumerian story about the Anunnaki and how they seeded the human race, and then they're going to come back and whenever they seeded the human race, they turned us into what we are, so we would mine gold for them and be a slave race that worship them, and then they're going to come back, and who knows what happens then. This is essentially the story of Prometheus. Don't you remember seeing that Prometheus movie?
Yeah, a while ago though.
Yeah, like that's what that story was. It's pretty much exactly what this is. But anyway, so Nibiru comes back, and then we're all fucked, because it's like 10 times the size of Jupiter, and it
Yeah,
just
it's
destroy it, like causes like havoc because of the gravitational force that it has.
in many versions of modern doomsday predictions and shit like that. Nibiru is a harbinger of the apocalypse.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, so their warnings, recurring warnings from the Hopis are beware of technology without spiritual grounding. A world out of balance will destroy itself. And when the eagle lands on the moon, this is a sign the end is near.
Fuck.
So if they did land on the moon, which they probably did somehow, we've discussed how we think it was alternate technology, possibly. That's just my opinion. Migration and purification are necessary for survive transitions, and they mean catastrophic transitions. So yeah, path to
Catastrophic
materialism.
transition. Huh?
Yep.
Fuck.
So, and that's kind of the gist of this show too. Is like watch out for that materialistic shit because that is apparently the breakdown of civilization. Whenever you just lose all spirituality. So yeah, we so the inner earth connection that the Hopi have, because it's past the prophecy part. So apparently during the destruction of the first and second worlds, the Hopi say that there was a benevolent race known as the ant people. And it's some retellings. They were saved by they saved the Hopi by taking them underground, and then until the surface was like safe again, they stayed down there. And these ant people, they lived inside the earth apparently, and they taught the Hopi survival skills, sacred knowledge, spiritual law. And the Hopi were eventually led back to the surface via a little portal between worlds. So this lines into our portal shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were down there for a little bit. They learned some fucking life skills, and they were like, "All right, walk through some milk. You can go back.
Now you can go.
Now you can leave."
Yeah. So apparently, they called it the Sipapu. Is a hole in the ground, and it pretty much symbolizes an opening through which the Hopi emerged from the previous world. So it could be a literal emergence point in the earth, like the Grand Canyon where they don't let you go inside of, which is right there.
Yeah.
Isn't that Arizona? I mean, that's right there.
Right.
So they could have literally came out of there. Um, yeah, we should get into that Grand Canyon, like the off limits area, because they named everything after Egypt. There's a lot of like Egypt, like Luxor and all these different spots.
Right.
And I think that that was on purpose because there was a older civilization that may have been advanced that was in America at one point, you know,
Yeah.
and they may have came out of there. It may have been related to the Hopis
That's
or
where the
these.
fucking portal to the upside down is.
Yeah, oh, that's in Montauk. So yeah, apparently these people were thin, large-headed beings with shiny eyes,
Weird.
kind of like a gray alien underground being archetype. It's kind of classic, like the black beady eyes, you know, because they live underground. They're like bugs.
Yeah.
But they could have been Atlantean survivors, non-human but benevolent beings. But who knows, man? That's weird.
That is
I
weird,
think that they're
bro.
just trying to steady build this idea that there's entities that are good, you know, good for us and they'll save us. But here's the thing. I say that, but I'm about to like go through all the different places in the world that have a similar story to the Hopis. So I really don't know. I mean, this could be legit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
So
it's
don't, hey,
weird.
I have no clue,
It's weird how many stories depict these fucking weird beings to have like the same descriptions, you know?
dude, for real. And then all like under earth, you know?
Yeah. Just like little slim motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Tall, slim motherfuckers.
Yeah. So I think before we get into Admiral Byrd, while we're on this, we should go ahead and get into the other um what did I say? The other people. So there's global hollow earth myths. So apparently there's advanced civilization. That's kind of what they all kind of the reoccurring theme is. And we went through the Hopi, the Hindu, there's a Nagaloka, apparently they call them. And the earth is layered in seven realms. Remember how we always say seven? It's like the hermetic number seven. There's
Yeah.
seven gates to hell, seven realms, seven port. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's why I get a little like iffy on this shit because of the seven like constant numbers that are the same. So it's either that they're all telling the same story and there's some truth in it, but then is it the good truth or the bad truth? You know what I mean? Like, are they bad or good? That's what
Right.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
So anyway, the realm of the Nagas, advanced reptilian or serpent beings. See, because the Hindu worshipped, technically, I feel like the Hindu worshipped these little g gods we talk about. You know what I'm saying? So just
Yeah.
keep that in mind. And they were the Nagas, and they possess immense wisdom and gave mantras and advanced technology. And then there was access to Patala through this hidden tunnel in the Himalayas. There's a sacred mountain named Kailash. But yeah, in some versions, Patala is not hell, but a hidden kingdom of light and power. and Nagas parallel to the ant people. They're subterranean wise guardians of sacred knowledge. So it could be like if there's a story that, they tried to wipe out all these things, these giants, these Nephilim or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe some of them went underground. You know what I mean? And maybe some of them, maybe they aren't terrible, or maybe they're trying to win our. Maybe they were just trying to win our, butter us up a little bit.
Right. When our
You know what I'm
like
saying?
get our approval.
Exactly. Like, hey, we're not so bad.
Yeah.
Like let some generations pass, and then bring us back up to the surface. You know what I
I
mean?
mean, shit, they might have found better jobs down there. They probably getting treated better and shit, better pay.
That's hilarious. He's worried about the jobs.
I
That's
mean,
funny
come
as
on,
fuck.
dude. Why else would you stay down there?
That's funny.
I'd come back up.
Yeah. No, I'd probably stay back up here too. I would never go if I could help it.
Yeah, I mean, but in their case, they went down there. They were
Yeah.
like, bro, fucking 7-Eleven's paying six figures. Fucking A, dude. I'm staying here.
Yeah, they're chilling down in the tunnels. So yeah, there was some Buddhist version of this. It was called Shambhala. There's a hidden kingdom beneath earth, but also apparently it floats in the air. I remember reading about that, like it floats in the air. So it's like underground but floating.
That's weird. Cause there's
Yeah,
a I don't know if it's still a thing. I'm pretty sure it's still a thing, but there's a EDM festival called Shambhala.
really.
Yeah.
Is there a floating stage?
I don't know. I've never been, but
Oh,
I just
you
know
should
that.
check it out.
All
You should
right.
check it out.
Let me see. Let me see.
But yeah, it's ruled by enlightened beings as well. Said to be the true seat of spiritual power, only accessible when humanity is ready. So this gets into Agartha. Well, not really, but like this is very similar to Agartha, a vast inner world, civilizations connected by underground tunnels, subterranean highway systems. So we might get into some of the cave systems that are allegedly lead down to this inner earth if we have time, because there's some right here in America. It's crazy. Besides Arizona. But yeah, these beings are um, said to influence surface life subtly, guiding evolution. And it seems to be that they do because they're in all these stories throughout all these civilizations. So clearly they're around or something. Something's around. So the Nordic realm, there's this one realm. I will not even try to pronounce it, but it's the realm of the dark elves or underground dwarves, who are master metalworkers and magicians. And this is just like Lord of the Rings or like Harry Potter, right?
That's exactly what I was thinking. Harry Potter shit.
Right. But the thing is, dude, remember we were talking to Cosmic Beach and I was like, dude, I saw some like whenever I was a kid, I was had like sleep paralysis and I saw some like machine elf things.
Yeah.
Dude, that might have been like a legit experience. I don't know. It's weird. I always thought they were like Christmas elves, but now I think that like Christmas in a way, like if you think about it, the elves and the machines making toys, like that just kind of goes into this
Yeah.
symbology.
It wasn't a
Because if you
nice
think
little guy. It was a naughty little guy.
right, and Nordic religion is up there where Santa would be. So I don't know. It's kind of it really does make me think there's something there.
Yeah.
But yeah, Norse myths speak of Yggdrasil. I mean, try to say that.
Yggdrasil?
Yug Yggdrasil. Okay,
Yggdrasil.
whatever. That was pretty easy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've
the word
played I've played a
it's the
fucking
world tree.
God of War.
Me too, and I just don't whatever. I don't remember. But yeah, with roots extending into hidden realms, including underworlds of power and wisdom. Now, this one is obviously more symbolic. So that's what makes me think some of all these are kind of symbolic, and now we're taking it as literal. And
Yeah.
that's what I'm kind of pointing out. Like some of these might all just be the same story of like these beings that we're talking about, and we're taking it as literal. Whenever really it's like, no, everybody's experienced the same beings because there is only one set of legit beings,
Yeah.
and this rebranding of like reptilians versus insectoids versus humanoids and all this stupid alien shit is just to muddy the water.
Right.
Maybe not though. But yeah, so Mesoamerican is another one ruled by lords of death, but also spiritual trial zones. There's Mayan underworld places called keynotes or sinkholes that take them down there to to realms that are ruled by the lords of death. That's crazy. That's what I was saying. But yeah, Aztecs and Mayans also believed ancestral spirits and gods lived below. So yeah, it's just again, I mean, maybe they do like some fucking ayahuasca and then they're like, oh shit.
This is what's happening. This is what's
Yeah.
this is what's this is what's what.
Yeah. And they're like, listen, these people live below, these people live above.
Yeah, it
But
just
it's like in an etheric realm. It's not like on the physical. Like you can't dig and go find them.
yeah. It just took one guy in like a group trip to be like, fucking look, I got it. I
Yeah.
got it. And everyone else is like, holy shit, he's fucking right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now this kind of proves into the Gnostic shit that we talk about with the feathered serpent god that we talked about called Abraxas. And I said that another name for him is Quetzalcoatl if you're talking about South America, right? Well, he's associated with emerging from the inner world. So I mean, it is weird shit like where it's like, all right, who knows, man?
Yeah.
But we're talking about Abraxas now. So that's all I know. So, but anyways, Islamic culture also had one. Uh we'll skip that because of the issues going on nowadays. I'm just kidding. We're just gonna skip it just because I don't care. Japanese. Japanese are cool. The central land of reed plants is the Middle Earth, and the underworlds and overworlds are attached to it. The god of storms was banished to the underworld. Zeus,
yeah.
Nimrod, right? Hey, what are we talking about? Where he discovered secret weapons and knowledge. And beneath the volcanoes and sacred caves are mythic hidden cities associated with the spirits or gods. So we're talking about like the book of Enoch, where he takes Enoch down, and then you see all these fucking gods chained up to these like volcanoes underground.
Yeah.
That's like that's like the Titans, you know?
Godzilla.
Yeah. It's just like the Titans with the Greek pantheon.
Oh yeah. When you say Titans, I immediately think of fucking Godzilla, Mothra,
No, I mean
fucking
like the original Titans,
no,
the
yeah,
ones that
yeah,
came, yeah. But yeah, so there's like modern occult theosophy and Nazi esotericism related to a lot of these stories, which is what leads me to believe that it's a little deeper than like literal shit. Madame Blavatsky, we've kind of talked about her. We'll talk about her a lot more. She's a woman who kind of started the theosophy. It's kind of hard to say that. Theosophical Society, along
mm,
with Manly P. Hall, who we kind of read a lot. Uh, well, we cover his writing a lot. We'll have to get into his shit, dude. The Secret Teachings of All Ages, great book. I'm sure I've mentioned it at least once. Got to
yeah.
check it out. But yeah, so they popularized Agartha as a spiritual inner earth, a realm where the ascended masters dwell. And so I believe that they worship these little g gods. So they call them ascended masters and yada yada. Nazis believe the Thule and Agartha were literal places, homes of Aryan races or ancestors or lost races with vril energy, which is
Real,
like a vril, VRIL. They're
real,
yeah, the Nazis were into this virilic occult. It's just what they called their occult energy, the force,
yeah.
that like magic shit.
Okay.
And Admiral Byrd. You remember I said that Aryan, like, you know, aliens or whatever, like helped him. That's kind of goes back into like Aryans being from the Atlantis, and then the whole idea of the Nazis and Hitler trying to create this super race and bring Atlantis back. But
Right.
what was Atlantis? It's the same stuff we're talking about. They're still trying to do it. That old king god Nimrod fucking worship of this crazy pantheon of bloodthirsty gods. But I just think that it's funny because it just finds it. I mean, my God, there's 1,000 different ways it expresses itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you think of each thing as like a different tradition or philosophy or like native group, but then you read what they're into and it's like, wow, it's the same as over there, 100,000 miles away.
Yeah.
So yeah, there might be a common source memory that they're all kind of tapped into.
I
Humanity
would
may have been.
I
Go
would
ahead.
no, yeah, I would think so. Like a common source memory they're all tapped into if they're all saying the same
Oh
shit.
yeah. Oh, 100%. Humanity may have been guided, saved, influenced by these beings at one point, or they just convince us that they are here to do that for us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It could be one of those two.
This is
Not really
just
sure
like
which.
the little bit of information that's trickled down through generations and generations, and now it's just theories.
Right.
Yeah.
We came out of the ground, some little insectoids, you know what I'm saying? They saved us, dude. It's crazy.
We were just little fucking dudes, bro.
Yeah, we were just little guys. But yeah, so Admiral Byrd, we'll get into him, I guess. Kind of touched a good amount on it. But yeah, so he was pretty decorated um Air Force pilot. And
Mm.
he went on a lot of super high level missions, military scouting operations. He went into like ancient guarded territory tied to lost civilizations, possibly, if you believe the conspiracy line of thinking. But Operation High Jump is what kind of kicks that off. 1946, 47, super important years because that's during the World War II era. A massive U.S. Navy expedition went to Antarctica with 4,700 plus men, aircraft destroyers, and aircraft carriers. The unofficial story is that they were searching for Nazi bases or more deeply, an entrance to inner Earth. Or, I
That's
mean,
fucking
why did they go?
wild, bro.
Yeah, why did they go there with so much artillery and like they're ready to go, you know?
I mean, wouldn't you want to be prepared for the worst though? Going if potentially you did find the entrance to the Hollow Earth and there's some bullshit there.
Yeah, I think.
Wouldn't you want to be kind of loaded up?
Yeah, especially if you think there's some nefarious characters down there that
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
in the war with, you know?
Like, granted that their fucking artillery would even do anything, I would still want to at least have something, you know?
Well, what makes that crazy is they had all that shit and then they cut their mission short 6 months early because allegedly there was flying saucers that
Oh,
like fucking outmaneuvered them and fucking came from the water and under the ice and just fucking they had to go.
they're like, yo, shoot that shit. They're like, oh,
They couldn't
fuck,
do
we
it.
missed like 80 times. All right, we're leaving.
Yeah,
We don't even stand a chance.
Admiral Byrd warned of a threat that could fly pole to pole at at incredible speeds. So I mean, who knows, dude? Apparently, he had a secret
Fuck.
diary, and that's where a lot of this came from. Apparently, it was a secret diary. Some
Yeah.
people have tried to debunk it. I don't know. We're gonna get into like all of it and see what we think by the end, because I don't know. Maybe I think people try to debunk shit all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and then at the same time, there's a lot of bullshit out there. But yeah, so it claims that a bird flew into the opening of the North Pole and entered a lush land with mammoths, greenery, and an advanced inner Earth civilization. He describes meeting beings known as the Ariani, tall, enlightened people with Germanic features. The Germanic features part is what lends me to kind of almost believe this is just completely made up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like some Nazi wrote this and they were
Yeah.
like, oh, he went down there, he found advanced culture of Germanic people. And they had great technology and they knew how to, they were perfect,
Again,
you know,
dude, someone was probably tripping and they're like, holy fuck, I gotta write this down.
100%. Well, Admiral Byrd was.
Or,
But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
allegedly, they warned him humanity was headed towards self-destruction via nuclear weapons, like I mentioned earlier, and that they had to try to warn humanity before. I don't know when, but they said you're in the domain of the Ariani, the inner world of the Earth.
Hmm.
So there's North and South Pole access, apparently. Byrd's flight was in the North Pole. Um, high jump and later Operation Deep Freeze in 1955 was tied to militarization. Antarctica is completely restricted now, and so there's really no way to tell what operations or where the opening could be or what's even happened down there,
Yeah.
which just really lends more credence to like something might be up.
Yeah. There's definitely some shit going on there. Cause like, yeah, you don't even hear anything about it anymore.
Yeah,
You just know that it's there. You don't hear
no,
shit.
that's it. Sometimes and randomly you'll hear that there's an anomaly down there,
Yeah.
just to keep some hype going.
Just to
You
just
know
to
what I mean?
remind everybody that it's a thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like it's like some of this might be it may be bullshit, but then there's so much around it. You gotta just talk, at least go through it,
Yeah.
see.
And all we can do is speculate because we can't fucking go there.
Yeah. And being that the Nazis believed in the Thule, Agartha, and Hollow Earth theory, I mean, there may have been some Nazi fuckery going on with this storyline.
Yeah.
But under Hans Horbiger's World Ice Doctrine,
That even
they
sounds
talked
like a
about
fake name.
yeah, yeah. Allegedly, it was this, they established Base 211 in Queen Maud Land, Antarctica. Post-war Nazi elite, the Bormann network, like we talked about, that Bormann dude, man, they kept they kept their operation going.
Yeah,
They went
man.
global. The Nazis went global.
He was fucking busy.
hmm So yeah, Bird's real mission might have been to stop a breakaway faction with maybe even to like with America to kind of stop the Nazis from like working with this group.
Yeah.
Or they went down there and realized like, oh, they're not even actually talking to anybody. These guys are psychos
Yeah, these
doing
motherfuckers
some.
are down here tweaking, talking to nobody.
hmm
All right, we're gonna leave.
And that's possible. But yeah, the Hopi speak of emerging from underground, just like all these other guys. So native myths from Tibet and Cherokee and Norse all talk about inner worlds. So there might be some kind of inner world scenarios going on.
That's so kind of cool to think about, though. I won't even lie.
Well,
That
apparently
is
the
pretty
pole
dope.
the pole the poles are heavily surveilled. So like both poles now. CERN, D-Wave, HARP, and Polar Research are focused on gatekeeping access, in my opinion. They monitor like all the thresholds. So I just feel like these same I mean, come on, listen to the people I just named. CERN, the portal
Mm-hmm.
openers, the portal openers, D-Wave, the quantum, if you're standing in front of this, you feel like you're at the alien
Yeah.
altar of a god. And then you have HARP, who is the fucking sending out frequencies, trying to mess with the weather. You know what I mean? And who knows what else? Because that's the thing, dude. We've talked about this, right? I don't know. Like maybe this psyop is that they're manipulating the weather. Like, yeah, sure, they're manipulating the weather. I'm not saying they're not, but maybe also they're using HARP and all those frequencies and the shit that they send out, the waves. Maybe it's for other shit. You know what I mean? Kind of
Yeah.
thin the veil, whatever. Make it easier for whatever fuckery's going on.
Potentially. I
Could be
wouldn't.
true.
I wouldn't count it out.
I don't count anything out. But yeah, dude. So these signals under Antarctica, dude, they could be something else. Considering all that shit.
I think it could be if they're worried about keeping whatever's there such a secret and not not disclosing anything.
Right.
Um. Yeah, I think it could be something that would probably break. Like you always hear the shit about breaking the internet. I think it could like break humanity or something. Something pretty
Mm-hmm.
fucked.
Right. So what if you were right in the beginning where you're like, oh, did they wake up fucking Megatron? Because it's like, okay, what if those, if you look at it from the angle that we're talking about, what if these entities are not benevolent, but they're really these old titans and they're locked up down there and they want out, and we're over
Yeah.
here trying to unlock them. You know what I
I
mean?
wonder what, if any, sort of military presence is down there. Just like around anywhere down there, just potentially keeping something in, you know. Not something, maybe something wants to fuck out.
My mind leans towards getting something out, but you're probably right. But the thing is, whenever you take into account the prophecies, because that's one thing here's the thing about me. I kind of do believe those prophecies a little bit because they were pretty on point.
Mm,
But then I feel like the rest of it's kind of being literalized. But it makes sense if we're using technology with no spirituality to fuck with these entities, and then the prophecy was that that will be our demise, and then we're poking around with like ancient systems that we don't know anything about,
yeah.
just like in those fucking movies we watch and shit, and then some unintended consequences happen, and
Yeah,
you have some crazy shit go down.
it kind like the Godzilla movies, the King Kong, and then even like
Mm-hmm.
Pacific Rim, those kaiju motherfuckers.
Oh yeah. Yeah, dude. No, that's kind of what that whole franchise was about, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. It was about those. I'm like 99% sure
Mm-hmm.
that yeah, that's what that was about pretty much. That those dudes came from the inner Earth and they were fucking pissed off and they wanted something. They wanted their home world back or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
I could have
Yeah, that's
totally,
exactly
I
what it
could have
was.
totally like that's probably totally not the plot, but you know,
No, that's
those
exactly
dudes
what it would
definitely
be.
they came from inner Earth.
Yeah. You know, I saw this thing. There's Ukrainian soldiers and they were taking Pringles cans and they were putting them on drones, and then these Pringles cans had explosives and then it
Dude,
would like blow up. I'm like, what, dude? That's pretty that's crafty,
that is crafty, bro.
you know?
Imagine the Pringles guy, big ass mustache, dude,
Smiling
smiling at you. That's the last thing you see before you fucking get exploded.
completely. Yeah, that's crazy.
That is
Them
so
dudes are,
fucked, man. Like that next level drone warfare shit is so freaky. You see the videos
dude.
all the time online. It's just someone chilling in a bunker. They're just like, God damn, bro, I'm just trying to eat. And then
Yeah,
they just get blown up.
dude, for real, dude. I was seeing a dog fight with. I saw like the first real dog fight I've seen, like a modern dog fight of like, a jet fighter.
Yeah.
And dude, he had a missile following him. He was flying crazy already. Threw his flares on, curved up this way, and then the missile missed him. And then he comes up this way, and then you just see tracers from people shooting at him there. And then so he swoops back around.
Yeah.
It was fucking. It was like watching like a movie,
Was
but
that
it's real.
was it
It's real though,
real?
so it's fucked up. No, 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 it's legit. I mean, as legit as I could tell. And most of these I don't even believe because they all look super AI fucked up.
Yeah,
But this particular one, I was like, damn, that looks legit.
cuz there was a video of I don't think it was the when like a couple days ago, but there was a video of two stealth bombers doing a run, and I swear it looked real as fuck. Like I was doing my best to try and see if it was AI or from a video game, because a lot of those videos are from video games.
Oh, I could see that. I
But
could see that. But yeah, this one looked like legit. It
it
was kind of gritty.
yeah, well the disclaimer even said it was from a video game, but I was like, dude, that looks real as shit though,
Oh,
man.
dude, that'd be nuts if that's what I saw. Well, whatever. All right. Fuck it. It wasn't real.
It could have been with everything online now. It very well could have been.
Yeah, it probably wasn't. But yeah, dude, so let's get into these cave entrances
Let's do
because
it.
there's some cool ones, dude. I saw one Mammoth Cave, Kentucky was the one that like really got me going because dude, this is the world's largest cave system and it has over 400 plus miles mapped.
Holy shit.
Dude, this motherfucker goes and goes and goes. That's what I was telling you earlier. Like, could you imagine trying to commit to going to inner Earth and you get 300, 400 miles down and you're like, okay, we've been traveling for months. Now it's time to start our real journey because we've just now made it to where everybody else has made it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like, we're just now really starting the journey because nobody's been past that point, you know?
Yeah, you can't just spawn at your last checkpoint.
I'm sure some of it is like it forks off. You know what I mean?
Oh
But I
yeah, I'm
mean,
sure there's
yeah,
different systems and shit that have been explored and stuff like that.
yeah. So yeah, native legends of underground races are are all around like Kentucky from I guess back in the day and shit. So there's legends about it, dude. That there's some shit down there. Possible tunnel junctions that connect deeper caverns and unknown chambers. I bet you some of these like underground tunnels lead to it, and then our government like talks to these entities down there and shit. They're all hanging out.
Who in our government do you think would be talking to these motherfuckers? Because I don't. It's not Trump.
Yeah, nobody is, dude. I'm joking.
The
I don't think
coolest
anybody really is.
aliens. The coolest aliens you've ever seen.
But tremendous.
Tremendous aliens.
Yeah. Well,
Jeffrey, my friend Jeffrey. Alien Jeffrey.
we're gonna get into the we're gonna get we're gonna get into the Grand Canyon shit a little bit more another time because I want to get into the I'm thinking about doing like a like hidden civilization later,
Mm-hmm.
like the mounds, and then I don't want to go into this one too much, but apparently this is where the Hopis probably came out of. It's right by like the Colorado River. Um, There's restricted access, like I mentioned before, but there's a 1909 story of a Smithsonian cover up of Egyptian Tibetan style cave city that allegedly was discovered by this guy there.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're going to get into another time because that's crazy.
That is pretty wild.
Mm-hmm. So yeah,
Old
there's
as
this
shit. 1909. Holy fuck.
dude. Yeah. So that's like that. That's about the time whenever they hid civilization. Like a lot of our stories about hidden civilization is going to be based around that time.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, the World's Fair was like 1909.
Mm-hmm.
And then all that stuff was about that time too, because that's like when they hid everything. Like the Giants, Smithsonian hides everything, dude. There's
Yeah.
like warehouses full of bones, and they're like, well, it's full of asbestos. We can't let you look at it. And then if you call them about a different warehouse, they're like, oh, there's a fire. Like there's always a fucking excuse.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you guys are hiding something.
They tucked everything away and
Ooh,
gotta be a reason.
how many times have I cussed? Was that the first time?
I don't know. I've been cursing this whole time now,
We're
but
gonna shoot for YouTube. I was gonna okay, next time we're gonna shoot for YouTube.
well,
I just feel like, dude, yeah, because they'll dock you.
I'll bleep it out for the first 10.
Yeah. First 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Leave it out. Yeah, so anyway, there's more caves and sinkholes apparently that lead to it in Ecuador. There's indigenous ancient beings that dwell within apparently with metallic books and impossible architecture connected to Atlantean or pre-flood civilizations. And then there's the cave of the jaguar priests in Bolivia, associated with some underground cities, tunnels, and like temples to the gods. And so local myths say that there's Incan and pre-Incan rulers that could access the inner world via ceremonial passage. And again, it's like the initiatory ceremonial, like mystery school shit.
Like some
So,
hiya hey ya shit.
and it's like, all right, are you guys talking to physical entities or are you guys are you really going underground? You
Yeah.
didn't just travel 400 miles underground. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, let's be real here. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, these are all just this is just showing the global mystery school religion where everywhere you will find this. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's more, we're showing that more than we are literal portals or areas to get to these, like this city, you know?
Yeah.
I think the city's within, and they're talking about like the enlightened holy temple within that you bring. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what they're really referring to.
What if they're astral projecting down there and not physically journeying down there?
No, that's what I mean in a
Yeah.
way. If it's even a real place, but it could be like a DMT realm within. That's what I'm saying, you know?
So they're only
Yeah.
there for 15 minutes and they're like, "Oh fuck, I got to go back."
Not like a trip, but like a shamanic, meditative, guided experience.
Okay.
Like people have on like ayahuasca and shit.
Right. Right. Okay.
Lasts like 8 hours. And they're out there fucking seeing jaguars, and then 10 other people see it too. And it's like the jaguar turns into Mother Nature, and then she whispers sweet nothings to you. And then you're
Yeah.
like, I've now reached my enlightenment. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that. That's probably what it
Feel
is.
like I'm new. I'm new now.
Yeah. Yeah. Like at first you're terrified it's a jaguar, and then you realize like, oh, it's okay. I just got to be calm.
Yeah.
And then the jaguar turns into like a sweet woman, Mother Nature. She just kind of holds you in her bosom, you know?
He just holds you tight and says,
Yeah,
"Here,
dude.
let's go.
That's
I'm
legit.
gonna take you on a
Like
ride."
this. It's legit like the story I always hear whenever. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's not real. It probably is, 100%. My brother
Hey.
had that happen to him whenever he was on like a bunch of mushrooms. He said that like some woman
Yeah.
came to him, made him feel good.
Now
Didn't do anything to him. It was like a spiritual thing.
it's either that this is a legit thing, and when people uh break through, so called,
Mm-hmm.
and they do the thing.
Yep.
It's that it's legit, or it's all placebo.
That'd be crazy. Because I mean, I've experienced a real trip, and I know that's not placebo. So I'm sure there's experiences out there to be had, but it's like, are they using an experience that they know? Okay, so for instance, you've never heard of mushrooms. Let's just say you've never heard of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I come up and I give you mushrooms, right?
Yeah.
And you don't know. And then I don't tell you I give you the mushrooms. I just have you eat something or drink a tea, right? And then I know when it kicks in. And so I do some like some fucking spiritual shamanic shit with you. And then next thing you know, you start tripping balls.
Well, when you put
And
it
then
like that,
now you think I'm some special like godly fucking priest.
yeah.
Whenever all I did was just got you I just got you tripping on some shit you never heard of. Dude, that's legit what they did, bro. Like I
Okay, yeah,
guarantee
yeah.
you that's a big part of it.
Yeah, if you get someone who's never done it before and who doesn't know what it is, and they're like, "Here, try this." What is this? Just try it. It's good. It's great.
And you're gonna think it's like a tea of the gods, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because of the way that they're guiding you, and they're also like we talked about with the hypersuggestibility of mental manipulation and like mind
Yeah.
control. It's the same thing whenever you talk about a shaman. A shaman, what they're doing, they're getting you suggestible, they're getting you ready for this experience. And then they add a little bit of hallucinogenics. That way they could get you ready, get you really loose.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, then you actually have something happen to you. And I think that's a real experience. I'm not taking away from it. But what I'm pointing out is what it really is. It's not like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
They're
most
not
definitely.
they're not some special god that like brought you enlightenment necessarily. You brought it to yourself through opening yourself up to an experience that you could have given yourself if you just sat in a room and meditated and really gave it, not just meditated, but like, did some shit yourself.
Yeah.
I think there's something to that.
Yeah, I could understand like if you don't know what it is, you'd fucking feel like you were chosen,
Right.
you know?
And the problem is that these mystery schools and all that, they've kept this knowledge hidden. So you could do that yourself, but y- we don't know how. You know what I'm saying? Because they keep it hidden. So
Right.
it's like we got to, piecemeal together all these different pieces of philosophies so we can figure out which one's legit and which one isn't, what works, what doesn't.
Yeah.
It's kind of shitty that they've done it that way, but it's because of what I told you earlier. It's about the shaman priest guy that wants to convince the king that he knows what's good for him. And so he does some shit like that, and, you know, brings out some fireworks before anybody used them before, and shit like that, where like
Yeah.
they just believe it.
Check this shit
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's some spiritual aspect to things, but like at the same time, there's a lot of fuckery too.
I bet you before he started all that shit, it like preceding all that, he was just like, "You want to see some wild shit?"
Yeah. And then it's just
And then he just
bang,
fucking started
drop
his
some
fucking
dust.
routine, bro.
I'm gonna drop the dust on you. So yeah, ancient Zoroastrian texts also speak of underground cities. You got the underground city in Turkey, multi-level underground city capable of housing 20,000 people. This one has ventilated shafts, religious temples, and food storage all underground. It was built for survival during disaster. Many believe it was connected to underground tunnels leading into Earth. So there's some places where people did live underground, and so that lays more credence that like there must be some underground race of civilization, advanced people, you know?
Yeah.
In Greece, there's restricted peninsula that's home to ancient monasteries. Greek legends speak of underworld access points guarded by monks. Now that I kind of believe, like there might be something there.
Yeah, they're guarding the energy there too.
Mm-hmm.
Some shit.
Tied with, yep, again, the Atlantean survivors.
Mm.
That's what it says it's tied to. So in Poland, there's Owl Mountains, and the Nazi tunnel system, rumored to connect to deep underground facilities, is located there. And they believe it was a larger part of a Gartha access project that they were trying to do. It was secret orders that the Nazis were doing because they were having war with us, but at the same time, they were trying to go like do some occult weird shit and go
Yeah.
get all the, and so they were more focused on that almost to where they would have won the war if they weren't so focused on that.
Yeah, they were like, yo, the war can be like a distraction while we go do this shit over here.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they put a lot of eggs in that basket. And they were like,
Yeah.
we'll fuck off on the war for a little bit. And then
Yeah.
let's go figure some shit out.
Yeah. They're like, we want to take shit over, but we also want to be like, we want to do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
The whole point of it is to do this.
They were super interested in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Table Mountain cave system in South Africa, there's a legend that speaks of hidden beings beneath the land as well. So I mean, this is literally global. I'm about to sneeze. All right, we're good. So there's ice caves of Antarctica. Satellite and radar anomalies show rectangular shapes and thermal ice signatures under the ice. Oh my.
Oh
Was
fuck.
Admiral Byrd's little diary real? It could have been. You never know, dude.
Yeah, what else would make that sort of like signal, you know?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like what, dude, like I said, dude, there's a couple options here. Craziest option, there's some ancient tech that they're trying to. Okay, craziest option is there's some fucking real ass civilization down there.
Yeah.
Option less crazy, there's some ancient tech down there from an advanced civilization. And then the more likely is they're fucking with us and trying to push this idea of what the first two. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So either those two things are real or they just want to push those things as being real for some other weird reason. You know what I mean?
Just to keep the speculators speculating.
Yeah, but you won't hear anybody say what we just said very much.
Yeah.
There's not many people that do that. People are either saying, "Oh, there's nothing down there," or "Oh, everything's down there." You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's like we try to take an objective approach. You know what I mean? We don't try to just we're grown men. We don't try to just believe every single thing we hear. You know what I mean? But there's some crazy shit out there. Once you learn
Yeah.
that, there's legitimately crazy shit to learn. You start to wonder about the stuff that's a little that you otherwise would reject outright.
Yeah. Like two takeaways from this, if I were to entertain this as being true, I would think of it almost as maybe they don't have a way out from down there and it's a beacon trying to, send location being like, "Yo, help." Or we're down here and we would love to come up. We would love to come out.
Or like let's finally do what we didn't do 100 years ago whenever
Yeah.
we decided to stay separate and you do your thing, we'll do our thing. Maybe now they're like, look, let's start working together. Like they're not trapped, but it's like okay, it's time for us to come out and like we can all be cool.
Right.
That's what all the ufologist people are trying to push
Yeah.
is, oh, it's time for us to all come together in this galactic federation that's been going on behind the scenes, and now it's going to come out to the world, the disclosure.
Right.
And I think the disclosure, I think it's like we talked about. I think it's not what it's sold as. You know what I mean? Physical aliens that are going to come and work with us. I don't think that's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really, because then that's my other takeaway from this. I don't like this is out of everything that we have discussed and we're going to discuss, this is one of the ones that I find to be a little out there.
Yeah, 100%. I do
Yeah.
too. But
L-
also, our point in talking about the out there shit is to be like, okay, let's talk about what everybody believes,
Yeah.
right? That's what we went over.
Right.
We talked about the fact, but also the diary is probably fake. These stories are
Yeah.
all these stories are all the exact same about an inner Earth civilization, but that all happens to match up perfectly with the mystery school teachings,
Right.
which talks about these different realms that these other gods run, right? And at the top is, you know, that's Saturnalia type shit, dude.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna have to get. I mean, dude, it really is like, and that's why like it could be a pattern recognition thing if it wasn't so literally identical.
Yeah.
Like it's not like I'm just like, hmm, like one of those really good pattern recognizers that are connecting things that aren't there. It has to be pretty obvious for me to connect some shit
Yeah.
for the most part, you know?
Like dude, you and I could make a book and make it look a little like old as shit and then go hide it somewhere. And then years from now people would be like, "Holy fucking shit." And they would bust in their pants over
We should do that.
it. I'll cut this out.
I'm just no, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. No, no, that would be funny.
No, that would be hilarious.
I have thought about writing a book, but I don't really research it. Like, okay, so my thing is how do you find something that's just brand new? You know what I mean? I mean, you can like pull together research that's already been out there and connect it and bring out your own ideas.
Yeah.
But it's with stuff that's already been made. It's like without having boots on the ground, how do you go break a new thing?
Yeah,
You know
you
what I
can't
mean? That's
necessarily
pretty hard to
break a
do.
story unless you fucking find something. You make a genuine discovery. Everything else is just theory.
Yeah. No, it is. Yeah, so maybe they are making portals, but I don't think there's Hollow Earth. I don't think it's flat either.
No. No and no. I think Hollow Earth would be fucking dope.
It would be sick.
I think
It's
that would
weird.
be fucking cool, but
It's weird that they showed it in King Kong. Remember that?
yeah, they did show it.
Not only did they show that, but they also showed like the firmament where he threw that thing and it broke the glass dome over him, like showing the firmament, which
Yeah.
is another theory of the flat Earth. So they showed both of those theories in one movie. It was kind of funny.
Yeah, because well, it was like Kong Island where he
Hmm.
was like where he was. That was the entrance to Inner Earth, I think.
Yeah, it was.
And then
Yeah, because
that dome that they had built over him was just to keep him contained.
so wait a minute, what are we doing, dude? We're acting stupid right now, dude. All we're talking about is an access to an other world that is in our world where there's these things, right?
Mm,
That are special. That's essentially what that movie's about. It's
yeah.
talking about an inner earth. And in the inner earth, that's where you find those little, old dinosaurs and the King Kong and everything else. It's this whole idea of like,
It's all the
remember that?
different classes of titans and shit.
Yeah. It's like that Journey to the Center of the Earth book.
Yeah.
It's pretty much what it is. And I think that was based off of the Admiral Byrd shit. I think that's
Hmm.
probably where this shit came from, like a mixture of Admiral Byrd and Nazi shit. And then that's probably where this originated, if I was to guess. Because a lot of this is, yeah, I mean, it's just sensationalism. We're not here to push that, but we're disseminating the bullshit. What are you looking up? You find it?
Mm.
Find yourself a little something, something, something. You probably won't
Oh
find a
wow.
connection.
Then yeah, the novel Journey to the Center of the Earth, published in 1864, was not based on Admiral Byrd's expeditions. Byrd wasn't even born yet.
Right. No, that's not what I was saying. I was saying that Bird's diary was probably based off of that book.
Oh, I see.
Like a mixture of that with Nazi, like what they're trying to do. That's what I was saying. Which, if you think about it, the book came out before he was born. So it could be actually legit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that he wrote the diary. Somebody wrote it thinking about that and mixed it all together. Who knows? I mean, this is all conjecture. I do have to say, I do not endorse, sponsor, or anything of the sort. Adidas. I just have a hat on. I don't know how that shit works, cause on the videos and whatnot.
Hmm. Yeah, it's not verified, but the claim is valid.
Yep, valid claim.
A lot of parallels.
I didn't think you would find any verification of that. I would have been shocked.
No, I mean I just looked it up for little shits and gigs, but yeah, I mean
Yeah. I mean,
ChatGPT.
that's me making connections like, okay, well, that story came out beforehand and this story sounds just like it, just a mixture of like what was going on at the time, which was Nazis
Yeah,
and Aryans and UFO technology. That
yeah,
all was going on at that time. So I just feel like if you mix all that together, that's how you get his diary.
yeah. Well, ChatGPT gives you props.
Fuck yeah, dude. It always does. You know, it always does. I mean, I think way better than the fucking AI does. So it still needs to outpace me. I'm just kidding. Fuck yeah, dude. Well, you know, this was a little bit of an out there one. We're just kind of like, hey, you know, the portals kind of led into this.
This is
I'm sorry most of this was probably bullshit. I wish most of this was probably true. That's kind of what I'm saying here.
yeah. It's fun to
You
think
know,
about though.
Eh,
I like thinking about it. It's
it's enjoyable to
entertaining.
think about. I do wish that I could go into Mammoth Cave, hike for multiple weeks, and then pop out into some beautiful mammoth filled field
Yeah.
with some Aryan Germanic
Fuck
UFOs.
yeah, dude. Dude,
What?
if I could go back in time to one period in time, fuck going back to Egypt. Fuck that. I'm going back and chilling with Admiral Byrd.
Mm, wow.
Chilling to see
Cool.
what seeing what he's doing, dude.
Have fun.
It's
I don't
probably
know,
gonna
dude.
suck, but
Egypt's such a long period of time. It's like which part? You know what I mean? What dynasty?
yeah, I guess I'd
You
have to
know,
grab
it's
my
so hard.
popcorn for that one.
Fuck, dude. I'd have to pack a lunch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, dude.
Hell yeah, man. I hope y'all enjoyed this episode of 6G Agenda. We're gonna be coming out with a lot more, man. We're first of all, hit our Venmo up, give us a little love. You know, we're trying to upgrade. We're gonna try to get a full-on studio. Right now, we're kind of meeting you in the middle. We got some video up going. We're gonna do a digital till we get a studio because we
Yeah.
can make it work this way a little better. But outside of that, man, yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Go follow us, like, follow, share, all that good shit. And we'll see you next time.